Good evening, guys. This side Rahul Magan here as a Group Chief Executive Officer, Treasury Consulting, and also a venture capitalist. This video is shot on 4th August 2020. Just 2 hours before, when I shot a video about the gold outlook, I gave an outlook of the gold $2,000 per ounce. And at around 2 a.m. Singapore, it is around $2,006 per ounce. If I speak hardly in terms of an Indian time, then I think it is around 11:15 to 11:30 p.m. IST India, which practically means that about 1.5 hours after that, the hedge funds of US will come and the final call of the gold would be decided by the hedge funds. It will not be decided by the so-called, the people, those who kept gold at 2006. But I'm not going to be talking about gold in this video. Rather, I would like to raise a very serious issue about the Indian corporate sector. When it comes to India, we divide India into two parts. I'm not saying the political India and the non-political India. I'm saying the Indian stock markets who are literally not bothered what is happening in the corporate sector. Example, without quoting the names, several corporates reported huge losses in this quarter, but their share prices are up and this would continue. I am not here claiming. Anyways, our hedge funds is in profit, so why we worry? The question is the liquidity crisis which is prevailing in the Indian corporate sector. And the so-called operators in India cannot run away from this liquidity crisis. And today, on 4th August 2020, I would like to bring some facts about liquidity crisis in Indian corporate sector. Now, what I mean by liquidity crisis is that the Indian corporate sector do not have a persistence power in terms of cash because they do not have the liquidity. When it comes to Indian corporate sector, I divide this into two parts. One is the unicorn, SoftBank unicorn, Paytm, Ola, Uber, Swiggy, Zomato, Lenskart, and whatnot. They all are billion-dollar organizations on paper, but the hard reality is that majority, in fact 99.99% of them not reported profits till now. And since this coronavirus crisis is here, which is not only dampening the airlines, but it is dampening till airlines, till hospitality sector. So these companies coming up on the top is away from reality, and especially Oyo. But anyways, these startups now got an excuse that because of coronavirus, we thought to be profitable, but we not end up profitable. And you know that in India, you have many valuation companies and especially big fours, those who can give any certificates because they want money. Guys, do you know Wirecard? The Wirecard crisis happened in Germany. About 1.9 billion is siphoned off from the balance sheet and the auditor was not aware about that. Anyways, most of the people even do not know about that, so there is no point talking about that. To resolve these liquidity crises, Indian companies needs money. Domestic sector do not have money because Employee Provident Fund organization clearly said that people are withdrawing their money. It means that the net inflow is zero because withdrawal will happen when you do not have the fresh money to invest. That is a common sense. That is how the withdrawal happens. It means that the only source of funding for Indian corporate is via private placement or via right issue. I'm not talking about Reliance because anyways, Reliance is completely a different story. The reason is they are taking money to expand and they are expanding, by the way. On the contrary, if you look at the NBFC sector, non-banking financial corporation, then in the earlier video, we already reported that NBFC sector needs to repay around 1.51 trillion INR, which is approximately 1,51,000 crore, which is little bit greater than 20,000 crores they need to pay every month. Because after 6 months, 1,51,000 crore repayment is scheduled. From where this 1,51,000 crores will come, only the God in the sky or these NBFCs themselves know, except that neither Einstein, Edison, Newton, no one know from where this money will come. Other option is the dollar bonds, right? Indian renewable sector is such a big mess now that, and why renewable? In fact, non-renewable sector is such a big mess now that they are heavily dependent upon the dollar bonds. I'm damn sure that 99% of the people, those who watching this video, they even do not know that what is revaluation risk, what is translation risk. So talking about dollar bonds for them, it's a completely different story. But all those who know that, they know that the dollar bonds is having lot of other implications in the balance sheet of that company apart from the interest. Today we got another news, and that news is from one of the famous company, which is Renew Power. Renew Power, one of the largest renewable energy producers, is gearing up to raise offshore debt by issuing the dollar bonds. And guys, by the way, read this carefully. They're looking to raise offshore debt by issuing dollar bonds to refinance domestic debt of certain operating asset. Congratulations. I have an asset from party X. I am taking fresh money from party Y so that I can repay this to party X. This is called business. I'm sorry, I'm not learned that way of business. That is the reason Treasury Consulting is a profitable company, but you know how it happens. Another thing is renewable power, ReNew is looking to raise around $500 million. And what would be the QSD, guys? Quality spread differential. I am once again sure that 99% of the people do not know about the QSD, quality spread differential. And I challenged Indian chartered accountants, if they know QSD, let me know how to compute. Show your strength, guys. Look at this paragraph. ReNew Power is a seasoned dollar bond issuer that have raised debt capital through this route several times. In January, they raised around $450 million. They are again now raising $500 million, which is approximately $1 billion. And guys, by the way, REC, Rural Electricity Corporation, UPL, they also raised their money about 500 million in May and June respectively. And many companies, including Adani Power, including Adani Ports, and multiple companies raised via this route. In fact, many non-banking financial corporations also raised the money from this route. Guys, remember one thing very carefully. You might not aware that how it happens. You really do not know how it works. You also do not know what is the balance sheet impact of that on the balance sheet impact of the dollar bonds in the books. But I am telling you that this liquidity crisis is not frictional. Now, frictional liquidity crisis means it is temporary. No, guys, it is not temporary, because it is permanent liquidity crisis. And I'm telling you, the day is not far when the difference between American companies, those who are debt-ridden American companies, and about Indian companies is not different. And guys, remember, 160 American companies defaulted from January till now. 160. And guys, do you know the reason why did they defaulted? And one of them include a very big player in natural gas. It's an extreme big player in natural gas. You guys know why did they defaulted? They defaulted because they don't have the money to pay the debt. Coronavirus is just an excuse because they are too much debt ridden. If you want the list, let us know. Ready for a big mess up on the cards. It might not end up on the share price of many companies because we know it is operator driven, but soon it will end up on many things. So remember that. And also one thing which we need to remember very carefully is that this would impact the job scenario, and this would impact the FX liability of the country. I have raised this point several times that Reserve Bank always talk about FX assets. Why not FX liability? Guys, you who is watching my video earns 100 rupees as a salary. Are you saving 100 rupees? You don't have any expenses. If you don't have any expenses, India do not have any FX liability as well. Have a good time. Happy Indian media.